week. I don't know what week we're on, 16, I want to say. My challenge this week is to run for, she said, as long as I can push myself mentally, I guess, or like until I hit my mental limit. And then after that, run 5 more minutes. I don't know if I'm supposed to sort of gauge that and then just keep going for 5 more minutes, or if I like hit a wall, dead stop, and go for another 5 minutes. So I guess we'll get started and see. Cool. my foot was definitely acting up. So felt like, I want to say 6-7 minutes in, it was really starting to kind of pull all the way up to kind of outside of my knee a little bit. So thought it was sort of a good idea to take a minute and kind of reassess. And I figured like if I throw in the extra 5 minutes and see how I felt, and maybe it would warm back up and it would feel okay. Was actually starting to feel okay, but it was definitely like my ankle was starting to feel okay, but my knee was like the tendon and along the outside-ish, like the back was starting to like climb up. So it was better to just, hit a little bit and then hit the 5 minutes like I was supposed to, and feel like that's probably a good point to take off. It might be one of those things where I just need to kind of do it a little bit more so I can keep pushing myself. So it's good to find out. But yeah, it was that bad.
Okay, my challenge for week. I forgot to check what week this is. 15? 16? I don't know. My challenge for this week was to talk about my favorite hobby outside of fighting, which thinking of a hobby outside of fighting was a challenge on its own. So I had to think about this one a bit. But my favorite hobby outside of fighting and the gym and everything with that is traveling, which is kind of shifted into like a secondary associated hobby, which is trip planning. It is by far the most type A psychotically organized thing I do, but for me it's very fun. So basically I made a pact with myself almost a decade ago, after I went through some major / traumatic life experiences, that I was going to visit a new country every single year. And so far I have done, let's say that was 20, I think this is 8 or 9 years running, and I have managed to do that every single year. But it's expensive. So one of what I basically started doing was planning out these trips months ahead of time, going through, doing a ton of research, figuring out ways to make these trips more feasible without spending shit tons of money I didn't have, don't. So basically what I started doing was creating these Google Sheets, and just super thoroughly researching what I want to do when I'm there, how I can make these trips as affordable as possible, and just being as organized as I possibly can. And I've kind of turned it into like a game, where I sort of look into places that I think would be interesting to travel to, and then I sort of create this itinerary for myself. I create this budget for myself, and I sort of play this game of like, okay, where is a place that's important to me to go, and how cheaply can I go there? And it even just the act of planning it is really enjoyable for me because it makes it seem a little more tangible. It's not just like this, oh, I would love to visit, this country one day. I'm making actual plans and strategies to make it happen. But it's also just like weirdly relaxing. I don't know how else to describe it. But yeah, so I just make these Google Sheets, and I will show that in a second. So basically, I just go like a madwoman. And so this is my trip for Spain this January, where I've got my budget figured out. I've color coded my itinerary because I have a problem. Made lists of all the places I want to go in the different cities, how cheaply I could find a place to stay that's not just like a rat-infested motel, my to-do list, all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much the itinerary, that I like to do. And as you can see, I have managed to so far figure out how to go to Spain for 12 days for $1,100, and I'm not done yet. So like I said, that's my hobby. I've been able to do it even during fight camp, because usually I'll just hang out at the end of the day and sit on my computer and kill some time before I go to bed and just kind of research places to go and keep digging and seeing if I can find good deals. And it's weirdly relaxing. And if I could apply this level of organization and research to the rest of my life, I would probably be president. But I can't. So here we are. All of it fits into this. So that's my hobby outside of fighting. Yeah, challenge of whatever week this is. See, I don't even know what week it is. Challenge completed.